Week 15, and I'm not in my studio today. I'm standing on my own site. Mud under my shoes, like actual mud for once, not a metaphor for it. 6:40 in the morning, before the labor arrives, before the sun fully commits to showing up. There's a plinth here, just the floor level. No walls yet. You can see straight through where the workspace of this building is going to be. Where someone someday is going to sit for 8 hours a day and either build a life there or slowly stop feeling anything at all. I'm standing exactly where that desk will be, like on the plinth, on nothing yet, because it's rained last night. So this morning, nothing is moving. No leveling, no shuttering, just me, the plinth, and the strange stillness that construction sites gets after the rain. Like the whole site is holding its breath before it decides to what to become. Someone would call that a wasted day, but I'm starting to call it something else, and we'll get there. This is Architects FM, Voice Notes with Kashish, एक सफ़र दिल्ली से दिल तक, and this is episode 15. And a quick gratitude before I get into the day today, because it actually connects. Someone from my building 1, like the school series, messaged me this week. A teacher listening from her staff room during a free period said something so simple that it stopped me mid scroll. And the message said that I'm still able to see how beautiful you are growing, girl. But at my side, I'm still looking for my grid. That one line, it sat with me all week because today's topic is the one room inside this whole site that I have still fully mapped. Mixed Land Use Series, Building 2. Block 1 was institutes, and we covered that. Schools where I learned, where I teach also. Circulation, the commute, we did that too. 60 km per hour and completely myself. And my father's best work. But now comes Block 2, workplaces. That status on my chart is still unchecked. Still, even after everything that I've even built. Okay, so this week I read that Zaha Hadid's own architecture firm has been renamed. Not rebuilt, not restructured, renamed. ZHA, the woman who fought against all odds, every closed door in this profession, like the woman to win the Pritzker Award, someone who built her name into the skyline itself, and after she was gone, her successor took her name off the very door of the very firm she built herself and just call it a natural brand evolution. I got goosebumps reading that. Like actual goosebumps sitting on this plinth. Because here's what nobody tells you when you are 22 or something and choosing this profession, that you can build for other people your entire life and still not be guaranteed a permanent seat in the very structure you poured yourself into. If it can happen to her, to someone that undeniable, what happens to the rest of us? What happens to me? सब कुछ वेस्ट लग रहा है करना कभी कभार तो. That thought hasn't left me all week. And it's the real reason I sat with a creative block also on this episode. Not because I had nothing to say about workplaces, but because I have too much and none of it wanted to still so long that it became a story. So let's actually walk through it, not as an achievement list, but as a site under survey. I have been working without a real pause since 2015. A decade, like 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, almost with commute And for most of it, we already unpacked that part in episode 30. But out of that decade, out of that hundreds of weeks, exactly one stretch, one job, those 30 months long, actually felt like it was designed with me inside it, not just for my output. 30 months. That's just the whole tally. Two things made that place different: a studio that actually had daylight in it, real light, not the fluorescent apology most offices offer instead, and people whose energy didn't drain the room the moment they walked in. In that space, I wasn't just working, I was becoming something. Everywhere else, the traditional 6-day grind before and the hybrid version that came after COVID forced everyone's hands. Like I kept going and doing the work well. The projects got delivered, frame rates got built, systems designed, live and in real time. But there was always this one question pricking at the underneath of all of this. What am I actually doing? Does it change anyone's life for the better? Does it fulfill me? Or does it just keep me busy enough not to ask such questions? Some mornings I look in the mirror and I actually manage to say, "Wow, Kashish, you're good at this." Full stop. No footnote after it. But honestly, most mornings, I don't quite get there. So here's what I want to ask you all, wherever you are listening from: driving to work, walking away from it, or hiding in a stairwell on a break, or pretending this is just a phone call. Think about the place where you spend most of your waking hours, not your house, like the other one. Does it feel like it was designed for you? Or does it feel like you're simply occupying square footage someone else already drew the lines for you? Hold that answer. We are not done with it yet. So the little Kashish doesn't know what workplace even means yet. Not really. Like for her, it has exactly two addresses. One, her father's office come workshop. The one that fairly smells like paper, ink, and a lot of other tools that has been placed on the tables, where he opens the shutter himself in the morning and closes it himself at night. Nobody manages him at that room. He manages the room. And the second address is her mother's kitchen, except it's not just really the kitchen, right? It's the entire house. Every corner of it is her workplace, and she runs all of it without ever once calling it work. Nobody clocks her in. Nobody claps when her shift ends because it never really does. Little Kashish watches both of them and quietly decides: a workplace is somewhere someone belongs to you. Somewhere no one else get to decide who you are inside that room. When the room has a feeling of belongingness. She doesn't know it yet, but she's going to spend the next 15 years chasing that exact feeling in rooms that were never built for her. Most of them won't feel like the workshop or the kitchen, but most of them will just really make her feel like somebody else's floor plan, like she'll be just expected to be grateful for the square footage anyway. And the present me, I was just hearing her, and I wish I could tell her that it gets simpler. It doesn't. It gets more layered instead. 10 years in, and I'm more complex than I've ever been. Framework, system, live execution, conceptual thinking, all of it eating my everyday hours, and somewhere underneath all of it, that same 15-year-old question is still running on a loop. Am I actually good at this? Does any of it land anywhere that matters? And now that there's Zahadid's name quietly lifted off a door, sitting in my head next to that question, making it more heavier than it has ever been. क्या मैं भी भुला दी जाऊंगी? Will I be forgotten too? Is that one line actually means if you want the direct translation? I don't ask it often out loud, but I'm asking it now. Will I be forgotten too? Okay, so the 45-year-old Kashish is here, same as always. Usually, she has the line ready before I even finish the thought. Some version of like, you've done this before, girl, you'll do it again. I waited for it. Rather, we waited for it. But it didn't come. We thought from wherever she's standing 30 years ahead, this particular question, does my work outlast me? Does my name stay on the door I built? Would already be settled, filed away with an answer attached. Instead, all I get eventually, quietly, are two words. Abhi nahi. Not yet, girls. And strangely, that told me more than a full paragraph of reassurance ever could. It told me this particular room in this house or this whole series doesn't get finished on a schedule. Not even for her. Not even 30 years from now. Which means it's allowed to be still under construction for me too. You know what actually today was? It is rechargeable time. On site, when it rains, the power goes when nothing physically moves. We call that a non-productive day. A loss. I don't think it's a loss anymore. I think it's closer to thermal mass. The part of a structure that quietly absorbs heat through the day and releases it slowly once everything else has gone still. Nothing got built today. No wall went up, but something got absorbed. It will release later, slower, on its own time. I keep thinking about actually episode 2. The puzzle, the grid on the way back of every piece, A to F, 1 to 7. I found my grid in almost every other part of this life. Schools, commute, residences, like even the hexagons that I've been doodling since I was 15 without knowing why. But workplace has always been that one piece I couldn't quite place. Maybe because you cannot draw a grid onto a room someone else designed. You can only decide, eventually, to build your own. Papa's workshop that had that kind of grid. Mama's kitchen had it. That 130-month job had it briefly. Most rooms since haven't had yet. And I kept building anyway, which I'm realizing as I say it loud might be the actual answer to Zahadid's question, even if it doesn't like one. Your name on a door can be erased. What you build the door out of, the way you made people feel walking through it, that part, that doesn't rename itself away so easily. So that's today's site walk. Not tidy, not resolved. Standing on a plinth in the mud, asking myself the one question I usually avoid. If your workplace has ever made you feel like you are just occupying someone else's floor plan, I'm sitting with that exact feeling too, my dear guys. Right now, not just talking about it from some finished, wiser place. That's the honest version of this podcast, and I would rather give you that than a neat ending. And if you have had your own 30 minutes, 30 months somewhere, your version of a daylight studio, hold on to that memory, not as nostalgia, as a proof of concept, proof that the room can exist. You just have to keep surveying until you find where to build it again. And here's what I'll tell you though before I go. House of Sachdeva Souls, the thing I keep mentioning and not explaining, already has one rule written into its very first sketch before a single wall exists: a closed door hour every single day that no meeting is allowed to touch. It's the smallest thing. It might end up being the only thing that actually matters. Next Saturday, we come back to the same site, but the sun will be out by then. The full workplace story, the traditional grind before, the lockdown days that still makes people's voices drop when they talk about them, and how everything changed over then, whether the construction industry was ready for it or not. I am Kashish, this is Architects FM, Ek Safar, Delhi se Dil Tak, the international first woman-led podcast who's trying to build something more meaningful. The site is quiet today, but it is still under construction. Take care, keep layering, even on the days when nothing seems to move.